So that's that very personal question of 3 years of marriage without God. We try to teach our kids to do things a little bit differently. So that's all good. The next question was, how do you get out of a homeschool rut? So this is right up the homeschool alley. We all get there. You turn the page, you do the next lesson. You turn the page, you do the next lesson. You turn the calendar and you do the next lesson. And you watch your kids kind of fade and fade away. You see the excitement drain out of their eyes and they kind of get this zombie look. And number one, I want you to know that if you are in a rut, that that's normal and that's okay. You know, a lot of life is a rut. You're just doing the next thing. You're going to the same places. You're doing the same things day after week after year. And that's normal for all of us. You know, we live in a culture where we want things to be exciting. We want things to be glamorous. We want things to sparkle and shine. But laundry, right? And cleaning toilets, right? And changing diapers and just doing the next thing. So much of life is a rut. And I think that the biggest thing, if you find yourself that you're in a rut, is to do a self examination of the heart to make sure that you're living life from a place of contentment, which is a challenge, especially if you're surrounded by littles and you're just turning the page and you're not finding much joy. So it always starts here, starts with the heart. And then you can look at just the practical things. Sometimes the best way to get out of a homeschool rut is to push curriculum aside completely, just kind of tuck it on a corner, go to the library, check out all the library books that they'll let you check out, picture books specifically, and then spend a day or a week or more just having the books around the house like library displays. It's called strewing. Put the books on the shelves and then run a family routine. Get up, do your chores, make your meals, do that normal stuff, and just observe your kids. Which books do they gravitate toward? Which books do they ask you to read? Which books do they ask you to read again and again and again? And see if you can't find a spark of interest in something that you can lean into as a family and just ignite that love of learning again, right? Where something pops up and they just fall in love with this one book or this one story. And now look at it through the lens of, well, what else can I do to feed this interest? Are there movies? Are there videos? Are there places we can explore? Is there a music link? Is there a food link? You know, just leaning into it a little bit. And you'll find that the drudgery of teaching, the drudgery of just doing the next thing goes away. And you end up playing and delighting together as the kids are ignited to learn. It's a magical thing. So, of homeschool rut, we all get there. Just push curriculum aside and then see if you can identify areas of passion, but never neglect starting with the heart, because sometimes it's we just have too much stuff. We're overstimulated, we're just tired, and we're not seeing, we can't see the forest through the trees, right? We can't see that we're moving in the right direction because we're too busy doing the next thing that we can't tell that we're on the right path. So homeschool rut. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. This one was, how do you help older kids get their spark back? Now, I did a video about this, and the link is in the descriptions. And I did a training series of videos for our homeschooling Olympians, which goes into much more detail on how you do this. But I'm going to encourage you to find the link and to watch the little black and white video. It was before I colored it and I went through and did the video series. But the reality is that how you help older kids get their spark back is that they need to see that what they're doing has purpose and that it's interesting and it's engaging and it's helping them move towards their future, something that they're excited to do, something that they want to do. If there's no purpose, if they can't see that it applies to them personally, then it just it becomes worse than a rut. It becomes drudgery. It becomes chains. It becomes bondage. And that's not what we want for our older kids. We want them to get their foundation in what they're learning, all those things that they need, basic math, how to read, how to hold a pencil, so that you can read what comes off the end of it. Doesn't really matter, but penmanship, all the basic stuff. And then at some point, we want to help them take flight. We want to help move them towards what it is that they're destined to do. And the way that you do that is you see them, you see what makes their heart beat faster. And then you start giving them opportunities and resources and coaching and materials to help them pursue their dreams. And they may be very different than what you want to do. They may be very different than anything that you've ever touched in your life. But you become an expert help seeker. You teach your kids to become expert help seekers, where they know that you don't need to know everything. You just need to know where to look to get your help, right? And so when your kids see that you see them and you can tell that they have passions and interests that are important, not just to them, but to you, and that you are investing into their future, when they see that, then the spark comes back and they are able to lean into what they're destined to do. Because we're not just trying to throw diplomas at our kids or send them off to college or make sure that they earn a good living. We want them to thrive in what they do. And they do that by seeing purpose and being interested in what they're doing and seeing that you care. So that's how you invest in your older kids. So 33 years, a million years of homeschooling, it feels like. We're at the end of our journey of having kids at the table, but the beginning, the middle of actually partnering with other homeschoolers to help them find the same kind of joy, the same kind of peace, the same kind of success that we've had, not only with our own kids, but dozens and dozens of other homeschool families. Um, what would I tell myself if I could go back and I could start over? And I'd have to say that I'd tell myself to just take a chill pill, Bekki. Curriculum, it's the buzzword. What kind of curriculum are we going to use? What are we going to teach our kids? How much should we spend on curriculum? All that stuff. Curriculum has never made a difference in what we teach our kids, ever. The curriculum does not matter. What matters is how your kids learn. Are you leaning into their natural abilities and talents? Are you spying weaknesses in their character or their learning styles that you can come along and you can help? Are they interested in what they're doing? Are they growing? Are they adding building blocks of understanding, right? Where they start with one thing and then you add on the other. I would tell myself to relax. I was always so worried about whether or not that math curriculum or this writing program or whatever, was it enough? Was I failing? Were we failing? Were our kids gonna flounder and die at the end of the academic journey? Will they launch into life and be successful? And the reality is that they're all fine. They're all fine, even though they didn't read when they were supposed to, according to the public school sliding scale. All of the kids were delayed readers. Our youngest didn't read till he was 10. Didn't read till he was 10. So what? I had one that didn't potty train till he was 4 because of medical issues. So what? I had one that walked at 6.5 months old. I'd say so what, but I think I deserve a gold medal for that one because, oh my gosh, was that a challenge. I had 4 kids that didn't walk till they were 18 months old. One kid that couldn't hold a pencil properly until I swear he was 10 or 11. His body was so big that his gross motor skills far outweighed his fine motor skills, and he just couldn't hold a pencil. And so we He I was his professional secretary. For years, he would dictate and I would write. He would dictate and I would write because his body, he couldn't handle the pencil. And when I'd hand him a pencil, it would stop he wouldn't be able to think because he was concentrating so hard to form the letters that his thoughts would get lost in there. I had kids that couldn't spell, one that still can't spell, even though all the kids are 17 and older. But he's learned to master the tools and technology of the modern world. And so when he writes, not only does his writing make you cry, but when you look over his shoulder, he'll have his writing open, and then he'll have research windows open. He'll have thesaurus and dictionaries and all the tools there available so that he can actually get through the technical stuff as he's putting his amazing ideas down. And we've had many a conversation where I've encouraged him because every now and again he'll be frustrated that he can't spell very well. He's dyslexic. He's also a professional mover and shaker, and he just doesn't have the focus to sit down and study spelling. And I've told him many times, your creativity and your gift with words is priceless. You can hire an editor. You can hire somebody that can fix your spelling and fix your punctuation. But you can't teach the skills that you have. You are amazingly creative. And so, at the end of the day, at the end of all these years, we've done every type of homeschooling that you can imagine. Every type. And again, if you have questions, please drop them in the comments because I will circle and answer any other questions. But we did public school at home, where the public school system sent us everything except, I think it was except a printer. And then they even sent us finger paints. It was fantastic. But my kids and I hated it because we didn't homeschool to duplicate the public school system. But we did public school at home. We've done charter schools. We've done where we purchased boxed curriculums. We did where a group of us each purchased a set of curriculum, and then we passed curriculum around for a few years. And then we wrote our own curriculum, and we did no curriculum. We've done everything. Some of my favorite seasons were at a charter school down in San Diego where they gave us a budget where we could buy any of the curriculum that we wanted for our kids. It was fantastic. But they also had this curriculum room, which was basically like going to a homeschool convention, but you were allowed to take whatever you wanted. And they had manipulatives and globes and games and every kind of curriculum that you could think of. And I feel privileged on this end to have seen and touched so many different types of curriculums. There are thousands out there, so there's a lot that I haven't touched. But it's from that perspective of not only having used all these different curriculums, but having seen so many more where I can tell you with full assurance that it's not the curriculum that will make you a successful homeschooler. It's focusing on the heart of your child. It's attending to that character and attitude that they're throwing at you in the moment and not making it more about school or about the sport or about the hobby, but going right to the heart and dealing with the fact that they're rolling their eyes or they're fighting and bickering or they're doing some other thing that doesn't fit with your world view or your family culture or whatever you deem is necessary,